Picture this. Over 4,500 years ago, in the heart of a sun-scorched desert, a civilization dared to defy the impossible. The pyramids of Giza rose from the sands of Egypt, towering monuments of stone, some blocks heavier than elephants, stacked so perfectly they've stood through millennia. They did it without wheels, without cranes, without the machines we lean on today, or so the story goes. How did they manage it? Was it the raw genius of human hands or something more? A secret lost to time? Welcome to Tales of Civilizations, where I'll take you deep into ancient Egypt to unravel one of history's most breathtaking mysteries. How did they build the pyramids without modern tools? Grab a seat, because this journey through the sands is about to begin. Let's set the stage. It's around 2630 BC, and Egypt is a land unlike any other. The Nile River cuts through the desert like a lifeline, its annual floods turning barren soil into fields of green. Along its banks, a kingdom thrives, a place where pharaohs are gods on earth, their every word a command from the divine. These rulers don't just live for the present, they build for eternity. Their tombs aren't mere graves, they're gateways to the afterlife, packed with treasures to carry their souls to the stars. The first to dream big was Djoser, a pharaoh of the Third Dynasty. His architect, a man named Imhotep, a name that would echo through time, carved the Step Pyramid at Saqqara, a jagged tower of limestone blocks rising 6 levels toward the sky. It was a marvel, the world's first pyramid, but it was just the beginning. Fast forward 2 centuries to the reign of Khufu, a pharaoh whose ambition knew no bounds. Around 25 and 50 BC, he looked out over the plateau of Giza and decided to build something the world had never seen. The Great Pyramid, a colossal tomb 481 feet tall, made of 2.3 million blocks of stone, some weighing as much as 80 tons. This wasn't just architecture, it was a declaration of power, a challenge to time itself. But here's the kicker. The Egyptians had no iron tools, no pulleys, no engines, just their hands, their minds, and a relentless drive to obey their god-king. So how did they pull it off? Now, close your eyes for a moment and imagine Giza in the thick of construction. The air is thick with dust, the sun a merciless blaze overhead. It's the inundation season. The Nile has flooded, freeing farmers from their fields to serve the pharaoh. Tens of thousands of workers swarm the site, not slaves, as old tales once claimed, but skilled laborers and peasants paid in bread, beer, and the promise of honor in the afterlife. Archaeologists have found their villages near Giza, bakeries, breweries, even graves marked with pride. These men quarry stone from cliffs just miles away, hacking at limestone with copper chisels and dolomite hammers, their sweat soaking the sand. The smaller blocks, about 2 tons each, are manageable. Teams drag them on wooden sleds across the desert, pouring water ahead to slick the ground and cut the friction. It's a trick so clever it feels like magic, turning dry sand into a slippery runway. But then there are the giants. Granite slabs from Aswan, 500 miles south, weighing 50, 60, even 80 tons. How do you move something that massive? They float them down the Nile on barges during the flood, then haul them ashore with ropes and muscle, chanting in rhythm as they inch along. It's back-breaking work, a symphony of human effort played out under the watchful eye of overseers with papyrus plans and plumb lines. The real challenge comes when the stones reach Giza. The pyramid isn't just tall, it's precise, its base a near-perfect square, its sides sloping at 51 degrees to a pinpoint apex. Workers build ramps to lift the blocks skyward, not straight ramps, which would collapse under the weight, but spiraling ones, made of mud brick and sand, curling around the pyramid like a giant staircase. Teams of 20, 50, sometimes 100 men pull each stone up these ramps, their ropes straining, their voices echoing across the plateau. Some stones take days to place. The biggest take weeks. Scholars estimate it took 20 years, maybe 30, to finish, with every block fitted so tightly you can't slide a razor between them. By the time Khufu dies, his pyramid stands complete. A mountain of stone gleaming white in its original limestone casing, its peak capped with gold to catch the sun. It's a wonder that stuns even the Greeks centuries later. who name it one of the 7 wonders of the world. But as incredible as this sounds, as vivid as we can paint it, there's more to this story than ramps and ropes. Here's where the sands shift and the mystery takes hold. How did they align the Great Pyramid to true north with an accuracy of just 3 arc minutes, a feat we'd struggle to match without GPS? How did they hoist those 80-ton granite blocks 400 feet up, past where ramps alone could reach? Archaeologists have their answers, and they're grounded in evidence. They've found quarry marks scratched into stones, copper tools buried in the sand, even a diary from an overseer named Merer, who logged shipments of limestone down the Nile. They say it was logistics, a workforce of 20,000 to 40,000, fed by a network of farms and boats, guided by overseers who measured angles with plumb bobs and star charts. The ramps, they argue, were masterpieces of engineering, some internal, some external, dismantled when the job was done. It's a picture of organization on a scale we can barely imagine, a society so united, so devoted to its pharaoh, that it turned dreams into stone. But not everyone buys it. Some point to gaps in the evidence. No ramps survive, no tools explain the heaviest lifts. They whisper of lost techniques, massive levers we've never found, counterweights swallowed by the desert, or sleds with rollers hinted at in faint carvings. Others dive deeper into the strange. Ancient Egyptian texts speak of gods like Thoth, the keeper of knowledge, teaching secrets of creation. A few fringe voices claim the pyramid's alignment with Orion's belt, a constellation tied to Osiris, god of the dead, proves a cosmic hand at work, maybe even visitors from the stars. The Egyptian authorities roll their eyes. They've scanned Giza with radar, dug its edges, and found no alien tech or godly blueprints. Yet the doubts persist. Why do some stones fit with the precision modern lasers envy? Why can't we rebuild it exactly, even with our cranes and computers? The pyramids loom over us, their silence a challenge. Was this the work of men alone, or something we've forgotten? So here we are, standing before the pyramids, monuments to a past that refuses to fully reveal itself. They've watched empires crumble, invaders come and go, and still they stand, as solid as the day Khufu's soul rose to the heavens. This is a tale of grit, of ingenuity, of a people who turned sand and stone into eternity. But it's also a riddle wrapped in limestone, a question mark etched into the desert. Was it the brilliance of human hands, guided by nothing but will and skill? Or did Egypt tap into a knowledge, divine, ancient, or otherworldly, that slipped away with the pharaohs? I'll leave that to you to ponder. If you're as captivated by these ancient mysteries as I am, hit that subscribe button and join me on Tales of Civilizations for more journeys through the past. What do you think? Was it genius or something more? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and I'll see you in the next tale.